Here are 5 lies women are told about their bodies that we need to stop telling now. Lie number 1, that your period makes you impure. So many people believe this, and we hear it from elders, family members, relatives, teachers, signs in temples. People believe that you can't go to the temple or pray when you have your period. You can't go into the kitchen, that pickles will get spoiled if you touch it. Some people even isolate women and make them sleep separately or in a different place altogether the whole day if they're menstruating. Come on. There is nothing impure about periods. Menstruation, in fact, is not just a natural process, it's an amazing process, because let's not forget, it is a vital part of the female processes that are central to the continuation of the human race. But sadly, there's such a lack of awareness that many people don't fully understand what a period is or where the blood comes from. Let's just take a moment to remind ourselves that we are born out of the same place that period blood comes from. Period is just the uterus getting rid of its lining and unfertilized eggs every time ovulation doesn't result in a pregnancy. It is beautiful. It is magical. Google that shit if you didn't understand what I was saying. You should definitely take the time to understand what a period is. And it isn't impure. In fact, I, for one, expect to be treated like a goddess on my period. If anything, it's sacred. Okay, another super shitty lie we're told is about virginity. Surprise, surprise, it also has to do with bleeding in vaginas. Now, we're told that premarital sex is dishonorable, that our virginity is associated with our honor, and that the first time we have sex, we're going to bleed. And if we don't, there's something wrong with us. Lies, lies, lies. Firstly, having sex is not dishonorable. And the sooner we stop linking sex with honor, the better. Because quite honestly, most young people all over the world are going to be having sex at some point or the other, so we might as well be educating them about stuff like consent and safety and pleasure rather than making sex seem like the shameful, dirty, horrible thing. Secondly, some women bleed the first time they have sex, but some women don't. And yet there's this idea that if there isn't blood on the sheets, she's not a virgin. And women are mistrusted, shamed, judged, even harmed if there isn't proof of virginity on the wedding night. And in cultures, particularly in this part of the world, even honor killings take place on this basis. That is such bullshit though, because firstly, it shouldn't matter whether she's a virgin or not, and secondly, many women, even if they are virgins, don't bleed the first time they have sex. We need to get the facts straight when it comes to female anatomy. Most people think of the hymen as some sort of wall that is irreversibly damaged the first time you have sex, when in fact, the hymen is more like a rubber band or scrunchie, which is why some women bleed and others don't. It's stretchy, it actually has room. It's not like you can tell, or a doctor can tell just simply by looking at a hymen whether a woman is a virgin or not. So all this stuff that's, circulated about virginity tests and things like that, it's bullshit. You cannot tell whether a woman is a virgin or not, and it doesn't matter whether she's a virgin or not. My friend Nina Brockman is an author who wrote a book called The Wonder Down Under. She was in college with me, and she has this amazing TED Talk that explains the anatomy of the hymen beautifully. I'll link it in the description. You guys have got to watch this and share it as widely as we can, because I really think that these misunderstandings of how the body works are so fundamental to the lies that are being spread. And we just need to correct those facts. Another lie we're fed is about pubic hair. We're made to believe that it is unclean, unhygienic, dirty. I once went to a beauty parlor and she was like, oh, bikini wax kyun nahi karti? Udhar ka baal panoti hai. No, what? Why is it unlucky? Seriously, the amount of complete nonsense spread around this kind of thing is just, it makes me laugh sometimes, honestly. I don't know whether to laugh or to cry at this kind of shit. Let's use our brains, okay, instead of just listening to whatever bullshit we're told. Think about the purpose of hair. Why do we have hair? Eyebrows, hair in our nose, upper lip hair, particularly above openings, even though obviously we have hair all over our body, but there's dense hair over openings in our body to protect it. That's why, nose hair filters the air you breathe, for example. Your eyelashes keep stuff out of your eyes. And similarly, your pubic hair is a barrier against infection, against friction. And it's there for a reason. But to think that you are cleaner or better or something by getting rid of it is complete bullshit. It is purely an aesthetic choice. If you like how it looks and you're willing to endure the pain because you like how it looks that much, good for you. But if you're doing it because you believe that it is somehow better or cleaner, you've got to get rid of that misconception, because it actually is probably worse for you. You're exposing all your follicles to so much more bacteria. You're also making all that skin raw by, waxing is obviously invasive and very painful. So you're making that area more prone to infection and, itchiness, all of this stuff that quite honestly you could do without, I think. So we really need to re-examine these ideas. And even though certain religions and cultures also kind of emphasize the importance of, getting rid of hair there, and in general I feel like in India we're quite obsessed with hair removal, whether it's on any part of the body, eyebrows, upper lip, anything, And we need to just get over that and just be more comfortable with the body, instead of thinking that somehow it's better if we do all these things which we've been programmed to do, partly by unrealistic beauty standards set by pop culture, and partly by stuff that we see in pornography, and partly due to cultural and religious beliefs. We need to question these things. Use your brain before you blindly follow something just because everyone says you should. To be fair though, even for women who didn't grow up in this part of the world, I think this thing about getting rid of your pubic hair is like, all over the world, and women often feel like they owe it to the guy or something, or like you're not sexy if you don't do it, and I think that's partly to do with the beauty standards set by pornography. And I do think that it's just worth questioning those things and assessing the cost to benefit ratio. If you really, really love how it looks, great. But at least for myself, I thought about the pain versus the benefits, and it just doesn't seem worth it to me. And I, for one, just stopped conforming to that beauty standard, even though there was definitely a time when I felt like I had to, or, you owe it to your boyfriend to do so. And I just think many of these things we just do without questioning, and I really, really encourage you, especially if you're a woman, to question everything. And if the guy you're with is afraid of pubic hair, he is a wimp. Get a new guy. Okay, fourth lie we're told, that fair skin is better than dark skin. I think finally a lot of us are waking up to this lie, but somewhere I think we've also all had like some auntie or grandma or someone or the other that has successfully managed to penetrate the psyche deep enough that we haven't entirely gotten rid of this like fear of getting dark. Don't go in the sun, don't tan. Dark skin is associated with like what you don't want to be, and your marriage prospects improve if you have fair skin. People use fairness treatments and whatever, bleach and lightening creams, and regardless of how much we're able to talk about it sort of on social media or whatever, or brown girls and this and that, it's great, but it's really hard deep within to get over that, I think, colonial hangover of like fair skin is better. And it's a huge lie that we've been told for so long that we really, really need to get rid of. Basically, most of the dark-skinned world was colonized by the white-skinned world for a very long time, for centuries, and so we came to associate fairness with power, and obviously, power is desirable, so fairness is desirable. Fuck that! It doesn't matter what color your skin is. All skin colors are beautiful, and we definitely in India need to get over this thing of like dark skin versus light skin. We're all brown. Brown is amazing. It doesn't matter which shade of brown you are, love it. I think it's so ironic that like here, many of us end up like spending money on fairness creams and treatments to lighten the skin, and like in the white world, people are spending money at tanning salons. Like you just always want what you can't have, I guess. But I really think that with skin, we should just wear whatever skin color we are really proudly. So the fifth lie I wanted to talk about, and this is the final one for this video, women are told that masturbating is bad. And I just think that that is part of the whole narrative of like women shouldn't be allowed to think of their bodies as their bodies. We're made to kind of believe that they belong to someone else. There's absolutely nothing wrong with masturbating, and I think it's also part of that narrative of like sex is shameful, sex is dishonorable, and therefore anything to do with female sexuality is dishonorable. We need to just get rid of all of that baggage so quickly, and I actually think that masturbation is a great step in the right direction, because in a way you're getting to know your body. All those myths about the female anatomy could definitely be clarified if women themselves knew their own bodies really well and were encouraged to discover and nurture and understand what all their bodies are capable of. So I actually think it's a huge step in female self-discovery, and we should encourage women to feel comfortable looking at and touching and exploring their bodies and exploring their own pleasure instead of shaming them for it or making it seem like something that's immoral or something they should be punished for. I mean, for that matter, even men masturbating is stigmatized in our country, I think, when actually it's a perfectly normal thing. And, you know, I think young people should absolutely be encouraged to explore and understand their sexuality as long as it's safe, consensual, and pleasurable, you know? I mean, what more could you ask for, really? I just think it's shocking, actually, that to this day and age, we still have so much shame and awkwardness and judgment attached to something as basic and everyday and as much of a non-issue as masturbation. Get over it, guys. Masturbate. And on that note, I feel like also women who talk openly about sex or masturbate or admit to doing this stuff are like seen as hypersexual or nymphomaniacs or something, you know. Again, bullshit. Like, it's just normal. And it also will make you able to communicate your needs and sort of what works for you so much better. Most people don't even know what works for them, and therefore the quality of your physical intimacy with your partner is going to be much, much less exciting than it could be if you did know exactly what works for you. So it improves communication even in a relationship, you know, if you also explore your pleasure alone. And just in general, I feel like having a freer and more open society around these issues would create a world that's so much more gender equal. Along with the wage gap and all of that stuff, we need to be closing the orgasm gap as well. You know, women need to have equal pleasure in bed. Okay, sorry that was a bit of a rant, but those are the 5 big lies that women are told about their bodies. And as you can see, I get really worked up about this stuff. I really think it needs to change. I hope you think so too. And if you do, I hope you'll talk about this stuff. I hope you'll share this video, give it a big thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.